I did a lot of cocaine in college. Just kidding. I did a reasonable amount of cocaine with rats. No, I didn't do any cocaine. The rats did a relatively minimal amount of cocaine, but I gave it to them. I'll explain. I have an undergrad degree in cognitive neuroscience, and the core part of the major was a practicum around recreational drugs and its impact on brains. For a semester, small teams were assigned the care of 8 rat pups, 4 that received cocaine in their water, and 4 far less confident rat pups that received the drugless water. And no, I did not sample the cocaine water, but I'm sure someone did. And when I say pups, they were about a month old, and no matter what you think of rats, the babies are cute. It's an acquired taste, but I quickly grew to love my little guys. At least I was smart enough not to name them. The Coke pups were simply 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the non-Coke pups were 5, 6, 7, and 8. And since they were bald, we sharpied their numbers on their backs so they'd be easy to identify. We spent months observing their behavior and recording it. How many more times did the cocaine pups talk about the screenplay they were going to write or the business they'd start compared to the control group? Not one to review the whole syllabus, I hadn't considered the second phase of the practicum. After months of intermittent coke binges, we'd be running a chemical assay of their brains. In other words, we'd take their brains out of their little bodies, put them in a blender, and do a chemical analysis meant to show how the profile of their brain chemicals changed compared to the sober guys. I was curious about how this worked, so one day after class, I asked the TA, Christina. So I assume we wait until they grow into adults, have a nice life, then die, and then we do an autopsy? She was like, no, we take them to a little room in the back of the lab and we take their brains out. I had officially entered a moral conflict fugue. So I asked her, you do it? She shrugged it off. Yeah, the TAs do all the subjects. You kill them. She was like, geez, don't be so dramatic, but yeah. Then I knew exactly how to solve my discomfort. I'd add more discomfort. So I asked her, shouldn't I do it? She was like, do what? I said, kill them. Like, why should you be the one with the blood on your hands? I'll do my pups myself. I spent all this time with them. I feel like it's the right thing to do. And she said, wow, no one's ever brought this up before. That's really... And I think she paused to think of her next word here. Noble of you, she said. The shitty goosebumps started to recede. But then shit got real. She said, well, I was supposed to do this later, but might as well do it now. Everyone's already left class. That spiked a new cocktail of emotion. I felt immediately better about myself for making this choice and immediately terrified of what would happen next. So we picked up the cage with 1, 2, 3, and 4 in it, and we walked my little guys to the back room. If you get squeamish at all, you might consider pausing now. I won't be offended because it's not great from here on out. Christina reached into a drawer and grabbed a pair of scissors. Like regular, everyday scissors, not some special medical scissors. They look like construction paper scissors. Okay, so you just pick one up and you just snip off their heads. And I was like, just a snip? She was like, yeah. And I was like, it just cuts through? And she said, yeah, they don't have any bone in their necks. It's just cartilage. Okay. So I picked one up. Number 3. I tucked his little arms in my hand and he looked up at me like, Daddy, what are we doing? Why are you tucking me in so nice? Are we going somewhere? Then she handed me the scissors and I said, okay, so I just cut. And she was like, yeah, just cut. I could tell she was already regretting this. I just snip. She's like, yeah, just go. So I take the scissors and I just sat there for a second. And she was like, do it. So I started to do it, but I got halfway and froze. I went halfway through number 3's little neck and he literally screamed bloody murder. And I could hear the TA saying something, but it was all garbled because I was horrified at the fact that I was slowly murdering my little friend. Then I could make it out. She was like, finish him now. She was like in Mortal Kombat. I snapped out of my terror fugue and I completed my horizontal guillotine. And I dropped his squirming body into a little sack where they keep all the beheaded rat pup bodies. And his little head fell to the ground, and Christina and I just sat there staring in horror. She was like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. I said, yeah. She said, I guess this is why we do it and you don't. I said, yeah, good point. Number 3, I am so sorry. And I'm sorry 1, 2, and 4 because I had nothing to do with your deaths. And maybe I should have. I still don't know. But I do know. to this day that I have dreams of a huge rat in a white lab coat with a huge pair of scissors slowly slicing into my neck, and I will live with this for the rest of my life.